Welcome to COBA TV. I'm Tracey Spicer. The Financial System Inquiry's interim report into Australia's financial system was handed down last month. Australia's customer-owned banking sector has welcomed aspects of the report, but argues it falls short on competition in banking. Joining me today is Degotardi, Acting CEO of the Customer-Owned Banking Association. Mark, what has the FSI report told us so far?
Well, the FSI report made a number of observations, but I guess there would be four that I would focus on. The first of those was, most importantly, the report found that the rules for banks in the system aren't fair. So the largest banks, our big four banks, are actually playing under a better and different set of rules than their smaller competitors like the mutual banks, building societies and credit unions. The report also found that Australia has a problem with this notion of too big to fail. And this is where we have four large banks that are so big that the government can't afford to let any of them fail because of the impact that would have on the economy. What happens, therefore, is that those four banks get an advantage because they have a government guarantee that simply doesn't apply to any of their competitors. The report also found some really interesting things about the role of regulators and the fact that regulators need to take a more proactive role in promoting competition. They've focused very much in the last 10 years around stability, but they need to take a more proactive role in promoting competition in the banking sector. And finally, the last thing I would say was that the report found very strongly that consumers are not clear on who they're dealing with in the banking sector or really don't understand enough about the products they're getting from their banking institutions. And really that's an area, again, worthy of further consideration.
You make some excellent points. New research has found Australians want more competition and regulation. So why does the FSI matter for everyday consumers?
Look, I guess as people go around their day-to-day business of dropping kids at school or doing the shopping or doing their jobs, they probably don't think much about the FSI. But it is really important because what the Financial System Inquiry is going to do is set up the rules for the banking system for the next 10 to 15 years. And we've now found ourselves in Australia in a place where banking is in fact critical to the ongoing strength and stability of the economy. So what we want is to make sure that we have a stable banking sector, that we have a competitive banking sector, because stability, of course, will bring economic benefits to us all, but more importantly, competition will make sure that people like you and I have the choice of banking products, we have the choice of banking provider, and that we can play those providers off against each other to make sure that we're getting a fair deal and the best deal that we possibly can.
So specifically, what needs to change and what if it doesn't?
Yeah, look, that's a great question. I think really what needs to change is that we need to create a level playing field. We need to make sure that all the banking competitors are competing on the same playing field. So at the moment you have big four banks dominate the market, but they dominate the market partly because they play under rules that are simply not fair to other competitors. What we want are the customer-owned banks and some of the other banks to be able to compete with those big four banks on a more even basis so that we can serve more Australians. What will happen, I think, if that doesn't occur is that we will undermine the stability of the banking sector and therefore the Australian economy. We'll have an Australian economy that is at risk of being undermined by the failure of one of those big four institutions. No matter how unlikely that is, you don't want that to be the situation. But secondly, and I think most importantly, the customer-owned banking sector won't be able to take its brand of responsible and sustainable and ethical banking to more and more Australians. We want to simply say to Australians, you have this choice. You can choose Big Four or you can choose an institution that will put you first, that will put the customer first in all of its dealings. And we want to think that that's a choice that all Australians should be able to make.
Degotardi, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tracey.
And if you'd like more information, please check out our website.